pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Could you please let the roll show that we're all present? I'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. I have nothing to add or delete.
I'll move the approval of the agenda as submitted.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to announcements and communications. And I'd like to say one thing. I would like to give a shout out to our DPW. I don't know if anyone has seen the great things they're doing around the township. They're really making the township look amazing. They just redid the roundabout on the section of Pontiac Trail, and it turned out just gorgeous. And I just want to give them a shout out. They've been keeping our grounds looking the best that it's ever looked. And I want to thank Derek and his crew. And this is the first year for this, so of our full DPW, and it's really turned out to be amazing. And we absolutely wish we'd have done this years ago.
Yes.
And I want to thank this board for backing us to get this thing moving forward. It was something this township needed dearly. Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, Michelle, you had something?
I do. So it's already July and it's time for early voting. So we are a voting site for Oakland County. We are Site 7. We have paired with Milford Township. So both Milford and Lyon will vote in this room. And we have 9 days of early voting. It begins on Saturday, July 27th, and it runs through August 4th, which is a Sunday. We are open all of 9 days, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. I guess it would be, it's Friday through Wednesday, and then Thursday is from noon to 8. So for the 9 days, from Saturday through 2 weekends, we are open from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. and on Thursday from noon to 8. That's our only late night. So if you guys would like to make sure you spread the word, but we are open to early vote, and everything will be counted on election day, but at least you're able to put your ballot in, and you're also able to put in your AV ballot if you vote that at home and want to make sure that it counts, to bring it to Township Hall here and put that in early. That's my announcement.
Okay, thanks. You have one?
I do.
Go ahead.
Just want to let you know that it's summer tax season, so I mailed out the tax bills last Friday, and so they should be coming in your mailbox. I know that it's the larger tax bill, but if you don't receive it within a week, please contact my office, and we'll make sure we get you one out. But they went in the mail on Friday, and I know a lot of people got them today, so just wanted to let you know that.
I did get your notice today.
You
So
got the
thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
I didn't see any coupons.
No coupon.
There were no
I'm the one
discounts
that
to
wants the
enroll.
10%, whatever, no.
Um,
Yeah, but they're due September 14th without any penalty and interest. So please come see us. We love to see your faces. We love when you come in personally. We really do. So, but there's many ways to pay your tax bill. You can pay it online. We have a drop box. You can come in and see us, and we have the good old US of A mail. So anyways, that's my spiel.
I always like your communications and announcements, other than that one. I don't like that one.
I'll add,
Go ahead.
Robert and I attended the SEMCOG General Assembly last Thursday, and a lot of the focus was on the 2050 regional transportation plan for Southeast Michigan, so it was pretty interesting. So there's a lot of projects hopefully slated in our area coming up, or at least long-term, that hopefully come up.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Any others? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to call to the public. So when you come up to talk about non-agenda related items, anyone like to talk about anything, come on up. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close that and move on to reports. Our first report is DDA. Amy?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Right, just a couple of highlights from my director's report that I submitted in your packets here tonight. I had the opportunity with other couple members of the DDA Board of Directors to attend the Main Street Oakland County Awards last month. And we submitted for 4 different categories, and we actually won 2 out of the 4. So we were really excited about that, our first time receiving some recognition on that level. We had won for Volunteer of the Year for our previous chairperson, Troy Powell, who was recognized, and the Community Engagement Project of the Year with our Fun on the Grand event concert series. So we were really excited about that. We compete with a lot of different communities, I believe 19 different ones in Oakland County, so it was really great to be recognized there. We're looking forward to expanding on that relationship and utilizing all the resources that that partnership affords us. I also had the opportunity with a couple other members to attend the Oakland County Thrive networking event that was hosted at the library. They're another organization that provides business support services that I'm ashamed to admit I didn't know existed until a couple of months ago. So I was really happy to make a connection with them. They look like they're going to be a great source for us to utilize in providing some services, and they'll be getting involved with our Economic Vitality Committee moving forward, hopefully. So we're excited about that. I had the opportunity last month to attend a ribbon cutting for the Learning Tree, the Lyon Township location. They've got a beautiful facility over there. I know they've worked hard with the township to get it up and running. They just wanted to express their appreciation and how much they enjoy being a part of our community. So that was really great to hear all that positive feedback from them. Last week, I had the opportunity, myself and Clerk Cash attended announcement ceremony for, they're called Ilmore Marine. They're going to be located in our industrial district. They are a provider and manufacturer for elite level racing engines and marine propulsion systems. They're very excited to be in our community. They are leasing some space here. They are looking to bring in about 50 to 60 employees for their first year of business and then ramping up to about 100 in total. So multi-million-dollar investment in the industrial district. We're very excited to have them. And then I had the opportunity to visit with IXL Learning Center last week. I did a one-on-one visit with them, saw their facility, talked to them about ways to get involved, and they are excited to jump on board with some of our special events and learn about how they can get more involved in community. I've been working with North Oaks Dental, who just opened their most recent location last month. We're going to be providing a ribbon cutting event for them on Friday, July 6th from 10 to noon. And then IXL, we're doing a ribbon cutting ceremony and working with an open house with them on Sunday, July 21st. The ribbon cutting will actually be at 9 a.m., but their open house will run until noon. And then we have some special events coming up. If you haven't had a chance to attend one of the first 2 Music on the Grand Summer concerts, I invite you out to our next one, which will be July 10th. We have Detroit Retro Society playing. Food truck is the Grand Traverse Pie Company food truck. Inflatable activities again, water slide that kids will be taking part in, and lots of community groups and organizations that'll be hosting tables throughout the event. We've averaged between 200 to 300 participants at each concert so far, which is absolutely fantastic. So we are looking forward to bigger and better each month. We also have concerts on July 17th, the 31st, and then our finale on August 14th, which will be our volunteer appreciation event. And we also have a Touch a Truck event coming up on July 17th. It's our 2nd annual. Last year, we did 100 goodie bags for the first kids there, and they were out in 5 minutes. So we are putting together 300 of them this year. So if any businesses have product that they want to donate to those goodie bags, please get that to me by Friday, July 12th. But that event will take place from noon to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, July 17th. And you can just head on over to Music on the Grand after that event later that evening. So, any questions? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Amy. What a great job the DDA does. I mean, we're really excited. You guys are doing a lot of stuff. We have a couple members of the DDA in the audience, and that's really, really spectacular stuff. All right, we're going to move on. Fire Marshal Harbin is here with us tonight. You said that, I did.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Fire prevention for the month of May did 62 inspections, totaling over 202,000 square feet, and for the year to date, 191 inspections with about 3.7 million square feet done. Our Our average training for the month of June was 7 hours, and this month we'll be training and focusing on fire attack. Our run numbers are down 56 from the year previous. 2023 is 993, and this year is 937, which is shocking with all the storms and things going on. But luckily for our township, things seem to be going around us, so that's a good thing. I want to talk about the new sign that was installed at Station 1, replacing the old unrepairable clock on the clock tower. It's a beautiful sign. If you have an opportunity to see it, it's fantastic, and we appreciate it. New brush truck arrived from Ford and is being built right now and completed by a Priority 1. And finally, the annual hose testing was performed. And luckily, again, we had no failures this year, so no additional expense. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
That's a great report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to Sheriff, Lieutenant Whitfield. And Sergeant Sharma.
Good evening, everyone. I have my
Nice to
backup
meet
with me. Sergeant Sharma's here. We're going to go over a couple of updates for you. I have my spectacles as well. That's all for you. All right. I believe I shared this update with the board at admin, but for the benefit of the entire board, I'd like to update you on the felony lane gang. I can only do what I'm reading. A couple of months ago, I mentioned how the felony lane gang, they were in town, they were hitting the daycares and stealing from cars while mothers were dropping their children off. Oddly enough, our detective Spear, she was able to utilize the flock camera systems that you guys were so nice to purchase for us. She was able to locate the vehicle and work with out-of-state Chicago investigators to actually get warrants on these guys. So that's, well, I mean, it's very impressive. But normally these crimes are so fast. You know, think about it. How long does it take to drop your child off at daycare, run in and run out, and that's about how the time they would jump in their car, steal their purse, and they would run to Walmart. So we're talking minutes. So with the benefit of time and technology, we were able to track these guys down and put some of them in jail. I'm very proud of that. Next up, the cameras. So our cameras are officially up and running downstairs after a little bit of a hiccup. They were on and then they weren't, but we owe a tremendous amount of thanks to Melanie for pretty much stepping in and getting it all done for us. She was able to get with the All-Star personnel and get us access to the firewall. Everything's up and running. Now the next step for us would be I will make a presentation for the signs to designate the 2 spots that the cameras are in view of as the e-commerce. And then after that, I'll get with Melanie to have her put that out on our township page to let people know that it's there and up and running. And we also have the license plate reader. Everything's working great. Again, we're very proud of that contribution by the township. Thank you. And the last update for me is glasses. So in the wake of all of this tragedy, we've had obviously Deputy Reckling, and we had the splash pad shooting a couple of weeks ago. There are people that are creating fake, counterfeit GoFundMe pages. So I want to remind everybody that this message reaches to please contact the Sheriff's Office if you have any questions about the validity of a GoFundMe page. We'll do our best to track it down and authenticate it before you donate. There's one in reference to the splash pad. They've raised over $15,000 for a victim claiming to be involved in that, and they had nothing to do with it. I checked before I came up. I can no longer find it, so I think the sheriff was successful in getting it shut down. But moving forward, if you have any concerns or questions, please call us before you donate to these scumbags, as the sheriff put, that would attempt to benefit from this tragedy. And that concludes my report. I'm going to have Sergeant Sharma review an incident that took place in the trailer park. He was actually on scene and working, kind of spearheaded the investigation. Where we did a good job. So does anyone have any questions for me regarding to what I covered? Perfect. I'm going to do the Ray. Come on up here. This is it. We're going to share these glasses with you.
I just made them.
So this incident took place on June 20th, this year, approximately 7:46 p.m. Deputies were dispatched to the area of Kensington Boulevard and Grand River for a reported stabbing. Upon arrival, deputies were able to determine that a road rage incident took place on eastbound I-96 near the Kensington exit, during which time the suspect vehicle was throwing objects at the victim's vehicle. The victim around this time called 911 and provided information as to what was taking place. Both vehicles exited the expressway and pulled into the Kensington Mobile Home Park. As the victim was pulled over on the side of the road, the suspect vehicle came from behind and intentionally struck the victim's vehicle. At this time, both occupants of the victim vehicle exited from their car and began recording the suspects on their cell phones. 2 of the 3 suspects exited from the suspect vehicle as a third suspect drove the suspect vehicle towards the victims and attempted to strike them unsuccessfully. One of the suspects who exited from the vehicle approached the victims carrying a hammer and began shouting and threatening. One of the suspects pushed one of the victims, and the third suspect exited from the vehicle, approached one of the victims, punched her in the back of the head with what appeared to be an ice pick. The suspects fled the scene before emergency personnel arrived. The victims were able to provide video footage of all 3 suspects and a license plate number for the suspect vehicle. Utilizing various investigative tools, one of them being the flock camera system, deputies and detectives were able to identify all 3 suspects and discovered them to reside in Hamburg Township. A Be on the Lookout was sent to all surrounding agencies. And a short time later, deputies were notified that Hamburg PD had located and detained all 3 suspects and the suspect vehicle. Deputies and detectives met with Hamburg PD, impounded the suspect vehicle, and took custody of all 3 suspects, who were ultimately arrested and transported to the Oakland County Jail. The charges issued by the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office include a total of 3 felony assaults, 1 simple assault, and a malicious destruction of property.
So again, this is just another example of how we're utilizing the technology you guys provide us to arrest the bad guys. I love it. So does anyone have any questions with any of that information we just shared with you?
What a great buy the flock cameras were. That's all I can say.
You know what? If I may, I think the next time we talk about it, I'm going to get some for the south end. I'm going to ask for a couple more because we're really utilizing it, and it's working out for us.
Now, you have a portable one too, right?
Yes, we do. Yep.
You put that around a few places?
My detectives are utilizing it for just kind of spot issues, but we don't like to leave it anywhere.
No.
Yeah, but we did get a ladder. We can mount it to different places, but I think even just at the major intersections that come into the township, that'll be my next request, 8 Mile and Napier and the Pontiac Trail, so we'll have the whole township covered. And again, we can tap into all of the other areas that have them as well. So we can track a person's movement from wherever they come from that have the cameras right to when they get. It's really great. We can plug in a plate, a partial plate, just the description of the vehicle, and it'll show us all. Actually, when we, it's a funny story, Deputy Triffle was looking into a speeding complaint or a stolen car complaint. They just had it as a black Charger, and he ran my place several times. I got this bike. It's my car. It's not stolen. It's mine. That's just how detailed and thorough it is. Just a black Charger. It'll come up with every car that's crossed that intersection where the camera is.
Well, that was a great buy. No question about it.
Yeah, I think so. But thank you all.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Sergeant,
you.
too,
Thanks,
for a
guys.
nice report on that. All right, we're going to move on to Planning Commission.
Mine's not very exciting, but we had 2 meetings in June. The first one was Monday, June 10th. We did hold a public hearing, which is on tonight's agenda, for 21200 Pontiac Trail conditional rezoning. And the Planning Commission approved that with to move it towards the Township Board. And we had no old business. We had new business. We had the Melby single-family condos. They were asking for an extension. That's like the 5 houses over there. And we also agreed to extend that. They're just not ready yet, but they are working on it. We had our additional business was we had a little discussion again about the master plan, and Brian said that we are very close to finishing and approving, and we are going to hold a public hearing on July 8th for that master plan. So we're excited to get that past us. And then our second meeting we just held was Monday, June 24th. We only had 1 agenda item on it, and that is, I'm so excited about this, under new business, SoCo Social, but I think they're changing the name to Noble. Is that it?
Noble.
But we still show it as SoCo. They have applied for the most beautiful patio addition to it. If you have a minute to look up the plans, the building is extremely sharp, good looking, and I think all the planning commissioners couldn't wait to vote yes for that. So it's a much needed upscale restaurant, and it's absolutely beautiful. So we had that, and that was our only really agenda item. I'd already given a report on the board, so we're waiting for the public hearing for the master plan. So that's my report. Any questions?
Well, could have made it more exciting by an interest and penalty. All right, we're gonna move on to CBA.
Well,
Is this gonna be exciting?
no, it's
I
not.
didn't think so.
I got everybody's hopes up, and unfortunately, there was no case in July. And Catherine explained in her email that their revised submittal was even more lacking than their original application. So now they will need to provide even more information, and maybe, fingers crossed, October 19th. Maybe.
Hey, it's a good job with ordinance, that's all I can say.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Lise. Moving on to building department, Jay.
So a couple items that were not in our report, but that you probably will want to be aware of, and the first one Leslie may want to chime in on. Has to do with the Orchard Crossings utility installation. There's going to be a couple road closures for that to happen. So Silver Lake and Kent Lake is going to be closed roughly right now from the third week of July through the end of August. And there will be, Kent Lake itself will be down to one lane with flaggers when they install the utility, the sewer line through there. So when we get better dates, or when Leslie gets better dates, we'll try to update you.
And can I chime in if anybody is listening and that is your polling place?
That's your polling place,
on Kent
yes.
Lake Road, we are making sure that that stays open for our
The
election.
election, yes.
So everybody can get to vote.
Jay,
Yep.
you said the third week of July through the end of August?
Correct.
Okay.
Just adding one more thing, that intersection will be closed for about a month or 2 months next summer.
Next summer,
That's when
yes.
they're really redoing the entire intersection, so just thought I'd add that.
That's when they install the traffic signal.
Yes.
On the paving.
I'll add on to that too. MDOT is scheduled to close the Kent Lake ramp, westbound 96 onto Kent Lake Road, on Friday. So,
This Friday?
this Friday,
For how long?
until the fall.
What?
So pretty much no one's gonna be able to
Go
go
anywhere?
through Kent Lake.
Go anywhere.
No, go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Go anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. I didn't
So-
know. Why did they let us know that one? Okay.
Some other items that the building department is dealing with is we've had a rash of concrete issues. Several developments, a lot of spalling, cracking, bad quality concrete. So we're working through them with the developers. We're doing walkthroughs, having some of it replaced. I think the road commission's even having some issues that they brought up. So internally with Leslie's office, we're looking at different procedures we can do to try to assure that this doesn't happen next year. But right now, it's several residents are unhappy because of the concrete quality they have in their developments. We are working on still closing out our winter build-out temp C of Os. Most of them relate to the grading that couldn't get done during the winter. We've done 102 grade inspections since May till now, trying to close these out. So I give the kudos to the ladies in the building department. They are on the developers to get them to do it. We send them letters, emails, telling them if you don't have them done by this date, we're not going to give you any more C of Os. It seemed to get their attention. So that's good. And just a little update. So over the last 2 months, 96% of the permits coming into the building department are all residential. We've had very few commercial. So I just thought that was an interesting statistic for the last 2 months. So that's all I got. If you got any questions, I can try to answer them.
Anybody? Well, thank you, Jay.
Yep.
Okay, the water report, I kind of give you a summary of what's going on with the water, and a couple of things I'd like to just draw your attention to. The Woodland Water Treatment Plant, from January to June, has softened 250 million gallons of water. Is that not a crazy stat? I mean, I think that's really, really doing well. The bad news is, if you look at the bottom, the second softening plant will not be put online until May 2025. Okay? So it'll, if you read through this, it'll kind of give you a summary of all the different things they're hoping to accomplish between now and then. Okay? Anyone have any questions about that? I know you just got it, so I just had him put it in the box and get this ready. But all in all, it's a pretty good summary of what's going on. Okay? Any questions about that? All right, we're going to move on. Unfinished business, none. We're going to move to new business, and the first item is the consideration of the introduction of a conditional rezoning for 21200 Pontiac Trail. And I think Alexis is going to go ahead and lead us in on this one.
All right,
Alexis?
thank you. Good evening. Tonight I will reference our review letter that was in your packets dated June 25th, 2024. Up on the screens is the plan that was submitted with the application, and I'm happy to zoom in and take a look at that if you have questions. This item is for the application of a proposed conditional rezoning of about half an acre of a transfer parcel directly adjacent to an existing commercial center located east of Pontiac Trail and north of 8 Mile Road. The applicant seeks to transfer this half acre from an existing nearly 30-acre parcel to the north, which is currently all zoned residential agricultural. They'd like to rezone this little sliver of half an acre to B2 Community Business District, and then add it to the existing commercial center that is seen in our review letter, which is zoned B2 as well. This existing commercial center has a variety of different tenants, and they have offered conditions that will go along and stay with this should you approve the rezoning. These conditions include a boundary line adjustment, adding that half acre to the existing commercial center's parcel. No buildings will be constructed on this transfer area. Future site improvements will comply with all B2 district requirements, and existing non-conforming site improvements on the building shall remain. Non-conformities include the front and side setbacks. Any future proposed site plan applications shall be reviewed through the standard site plan review process by right and will not require modification to the conditional zoning agreement. And a concept plan that illustrates the transfer area, which will allow for parking and a drive lane on the north side of the building. So these were all proposed by the applicant and not solicited by the township, which is required for a conditional rezoning. And we had no concerns. We've compared the application to the 9 standards in the conditional rezoning ordinance, and we find that they have met all of those standards, and this appears to be supported by all of these standards. So if you can see on the plans, all they really want to do is add some parking to the north side, which will also improve fire lane access. They currently have no access on that side of the building. The parking will also kind of modernize the building, allowing for tenants to have closer parking spots on that side of the building. And at the June 10th Planning Commission meeting, like Patty mentioned, they held a public hearing for this, and there were no comments. After some discussion, the PC determined it was appropriate to recommend approval. And we find that that recommendation is appropriate for this site, and we are recommending that you approve this rezoning and allow the development to move forward with developing a official CR agreement. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are the applicants here? Okay, all right, before we get to that, is there any questions for Alexis? Anyone like to ask any questions before we bring them up?
I had one quick one. I know there was talk in the letter of adding some additional screening to the north, which I think would be beneficial and helpful. I didn't see a landscape plan, and I also wondered if there would be any treatment around like that corner going east, as some of those headlights and some of the parking will shine back. And I know there's a field and there's quite a distance maybe before you would get to the closest neighbor, but
Well, I think that's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a
Say
long
that
way.
again?
Personal.
Is it, you're talking to the
I'm
north?
thinking actually,
Because
no,
to the
I'm talking
north-
to the east.
I don't think anybody's to the east. I believe
Yeah,
the
they're-
shopping plaza's to the
Isn't Lion Trail behind them to the
So
east?
to the
Oh,
west,
Parkwoods.
there is some,
Wonder how
there's
close-
a neighborhood to the west. To the north, it's all existing agricultural land. And then to the south and east, it's all zoned for B2, but most of it is still vacant, so.
So you might be right to the east.
I don't,
Sean.
it's further than I thought it was, but I just wondered if it wrapped
Okay.
that corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone, you want to bring the applicants up and then you can, any
Yeah,
questions
and
for them? Yeah.
no big deal.
You want to come on up?
I'll also just note that once this process is finished, they will go through site plan review, which is when they would submit the landscaping plan. So there would be screening and landscaping required during that.
Just your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Wayne Perry with Design Engineering. We're the design engineers for the project.
Okay.
Here also tonight is Stacy Masick. She represents the owner, developer of the property. So if you've got questions about the building or its use, Stacy's probably the one. If you've got
Okay.
questions about the plans, I'd be happy to help you, so.
So I just wanted to bring you up, just first of all, is there any questions before they get started? I mean, do you guys have anything you'd like them?
Maybe
Okay,
just,
so go ahead.
maybe just one actually for Alexis.
I want to
So-
cut it, make it easy for you if it's.
Thank you,
No,
please.
not for you, but I guess, okay, so as part of the conditional rezoning, so what the, if I'm understanding the letter correctly, the expanded area is restricted to only be what's kind of shown on the plans, meaning that it could be parking or the drive, but in the event, in the future, if, you know, that building gets demolished and something new's in there, that strip is still only, can be parking and the drive?
That's correct.
That's right.
Okay.
That's correct. I appreciate you making it simple. This is fairly simple.
It is simple.
I'm not going to go into any more detail, really, unless there are specific questions. The owner of the property had an opportunity to acquire 50 feet, no more, no less, from the adjoining residentially zoned property. This piece of 50-foot strip of land is master planned residential. Hence, we've made a request for a conditional zoning to add it to the B2's district. The intention here is to not expand the building. It's to improve the parking situation, improve the drive aisles, improve the access. Beyond that, we haven't really looked at the site plan or the landscaping or any of that, which will come in time when they have a new user within the building. So it is fairly simple, but we are going through the conditional zoning rather than conventional zoning, primarily because it doesn't follow your master plan. So with that, if we have any questions.
Okay.
Stacy, did you have anything you wanted to add? No, okay.
I think it's very, very simple, and that's why I brought it up this way.
Yep.
Any other questions? I mean, okay, a motion would be in order. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional rezoning at 21200 Pontiac Trail with the comments from McKenna, June 25th, 2024. And this one from Leslie.
Oh, it was under the planning commission.
Oh, okay.
Let me find the
All
date.
right. And the comments from CES,
May 14th.
14. Okay.
I'll support, just to clarify, this should be for first reading.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the water service line inventory contract award information. And Leslie and I had a lot to talk about this along with a few of us. So Leslie, you wanna go ahead and explain where we're at on this one?
The state of Michigan is requiring each municipal water system to identify all of their service leads, including unknown leads. Due to the age of your system, most of the records are pretty current, you know, the newer subdivisions, et cetera, and they've been tracked through GIS.
But some of the older neighborhoods, although the water system is relatively new, we can't confirm the service line, and the state is requiring that the portion from the curb stop to the meter in the home be identified, and a certain percentage has to be completed this year. The state did award a grant to the township in the amount of $181,000 to cover this, as well as some soft costs. So we prepared a bid package, and we've been working with your DPW, and we received 4 bids on May 29th. The low bidder was Amerivac Hydro Excavation based in Jackson in the amount of $148,236. The second low bidder was Pipeline Management Company based in Milford in the amount of $169,165.40. In review of the bids and reference verification process, I have concerns with the bid as presented by Amerivac Hydro Excavation, the low bidder, and I am recommending the township reject their bid. In review of the references for the second low bidder, all references expressed positive experiences working with Pipeline Management Company, including your township operator. Therefore, it is my recommendation that the above referenced project be awarded to Pipeline Management Company in the amount of $169,165.40.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
I'll just say it's not often where we get a price and I'm surprised that it's not higher. It's usually I'm surprised at how high it is, and for the number of parcels that we're doing and for kind of the price we got, it seemed to be less than I expected it to be. Based on I don't know what, but it just everything costs too much. So it's nice that this can be covered completely by the grant.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a great contractor too, by the way.
Yes.
Leslie, one quick question. I see the amount obviously does not equal the amount of the grant, but you mentioned some soft costs. Are you looking for a motion tonight just to award this contract, and then the soft costs are dealt with separately and no board motion is needed for that?
Well, we've been billing hourly for the soft cost work,
Okay.
and that was included in the grant application. We estimated our time. And we also had to estimate how much the contractor, so the total overall project will probably exceed the
Right.
grant, and then the remainder would be covered by the Water Enterprise Fund.
See, this is what I was thinking it was a great deal, and now it's just not. Right?
I mean, it's almost $200,000 of free money from the state, so.
Well, and more importantly, we're going to fix this if there's an issue.
Right.
And we have to.
Yeah, right. All right, well, after all that, I should probably make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the water service line materials inventory project contract award to Pipeline Management Company in the amount not to exceed $169,165.40.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. All right, moving on. Novi Lion Drain Easement use agreement. Do you want to take that one, Leslie?
Sure.
Okay.
So as part of the Township Library Park project, some of you may have seen the layout, I'm sure you have. There is a proposed pathway entrance into the park close to 11 Mile that would cross the Novi Lion drain easement. And we have proposed a bridge for that section. And as part of that permitting process, WRC is asking for 2 things. They're asking for an updated easement. The original easement is, I'm not sure the age, but I'm guessing over 100 years old. And so when projects arise, this is very common for them to ask for it to be in their current format. It is in the exact same location. When I first got the documents, I thought they were asking for more area. That's not true. They're asking for exactly the same easement, just with modern language. But they're also asking for an easement use agreement, which basically they're asking the township to pretty much take all responsibility for the bridge being in their easement. And it's pretty one-sided agreement, but I don't think we will have any success in requesting modifications. I think it's just going to be the requirement for the bridge to go in that easement. This is what they're looking for, and so it's before you tonight for your consideration.
Have you seen an Oakland County agreement that's not one-sided yet?
No, that's why I'm like, we're gonna fight, and I don't think we're gonna win anything. So.
That's the next item on the agenda.
Right, I was just gonna, I thought I only wanted to go,
as well.
I only wanted to go so far with that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's unchangeable. Anyone like to make a motion?
Sure. I will make a motion to approve the Novi Lion drain easement and easement use agreements and authorize the supervisor and clerk to sign.
Okay.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. All right, the next is the IT agreement. Same thing with Oakland County, and this is a 5-year agreement. Again, I don't believe we're gonna change it, but we are needing it. We do need this. We do it every 5 years, so.
So on page 50. No, I'm just kidding.
50.
I'm just,
You made it that far?
Doesn't look like 12 pages.
it's like 70
Page
pages
50
long.
to 70, yeah.
Oh. All right, since I opened my mouth, I guess I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2024-22, the agreement for IT services between Oakland County and the township.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we got 3 considerations ahead of us for assignment and use of the school resource officers for South Line East. Is our first one, Lieutenant. These are always my favorite. I love these. I do. I love it. I don't think we can give them enough help to keep the schools safe.
Hello again, everyone.
Hi.
All right, before you, for your consideration and review and hopefully approval, are the 3 SRO contracts for this year. Let me just start with some statistics from our last year. I'm going to do something different this year. I've had all my guys compile all their stats, and I have them for your review. This is amazing stuff. In order to keep it a little bit simpler, I'm just going to kind of combine all 3 of them, so I'm not up here for 20 minutes. So, but you all know we have 3 SROs. They're at South Line East, South Line High School, and the 2 middle schools, Millennium and Centennial. So collectively, those deputies have handled 242 incidents. Now, an incident is just any kind of call for service where they're called into action. It could be assisting with a jammed locker or someone attempting to smoke, vape, or fight. So, but 242, and this is running back from the start of the school year, so fall until June. Of those 242 incidents, 170 were case reports, which those are just reports where they have to document it. So those are usually a little more involved. They were involved in 9 classroom instructions or presentations. They handled 54 citations and warrant requests. So, for instance, if there is an allegation of assault, they have to document with a report, put together a warrant package, and submit it to the prosecutors or the juveniles court for review, or the referee to decide if they're going to issue or lodge the child or what have you. But 54 of those. They handled 6 CPS referrals. Those are the Child Protective Services referrals. It could be an allegation of sexual assault or abuse. There are a lot of mandated reporters, so that's usually how we get those sent to us. But they investigated those, and those usually involve us sending the child, the juvenile, to care house. They're trained forensic investigators to extract the information from the kids based on whatever the allegation is. So those are really involved. I mean, back in my detective days, there would be sometimes 2 or 3 care houses, and you have to do that for each individual involved. They did 18 home checks, and there are a number of reasons we get home checks for. Just welfare checks to make sure that the kids are clean, that they have food, that they're safe. Any of those instances would trigger that. Oh, and the last thing we're involved in is, thanks to Supervisor Dolan and Superintendent Archibald, we did the court in schools. I mean, that was the most powerful and impactful thing we did all last year. It was a great demonstration on how we all came together. We had the township working together with the school board, and we were just privileged enough to be involved. And we had the courts. We're all working together. We put on this amazing presentation, and I believe that it was really valuable for the students. So I'd like to see that continue. And I say that to say this: we had the amount for the for the SROs. As you know, they're going up every year. But it's just the same contract. I usually just change the dollar amount to reflect what the county charges for the township for our wages. So if you look at that on the last page, we are The cost of a deputy in 2024 is $157,072.40. We are asking the schools to pay 100% of the in-school costs, which will be for 40 weeks, and that total is $120,824.92. That leaves a responsibility of $36,247.48 per SRO for the townships to cover for the summertime. So, I mean, these are the numbers. This is what we do. We have Mr. Archibald here who could, if needed, could support our position and give a little feedback as to how his administration feels about our presence. I mean, you can either take my word for it, or I can invite him up to tell you how great of a job we do. I don't know. It's up to you. Does anyone have any questions for me?
No, that's amazing to hear all of that goes on besides,
Yes.
you know.
And I just want to say, too, that these officers that you have in the schools are the nicest guys.
Yeah.
They really get along, and I think Mr. Archibald could, you could come on up for sure. I'm sure he could vouch for how they are. I watched him in the court and school interact with the kids, and it was invaluable. I mean, it was a great thing, and I just can't say enough about this program, and I would always continue, as long as we had enough money to fund this, I would always be on the side of funding it, always.
Is Georgie there a lot?
Not often enough. I have treats in my office, so
We all
I'm
do.
always prepared.
And toys.
And toys. No, really, the partnership, and I don't think you need me to reinforce this, but I will because I'm very proud of it, is phenomenal. I think we have a very good working relationship on both short and long term. We have representation from the Sheriff's Department on our school advisory safety team, which I think is critical to our day-to-day planning and policies and procedures and so forth. We transitioned 3 new officers this year, which to transition 3 new officers at one time is a lot. Now, we did have the Grand Poobah Deputy Biggers around to help mentor and counsel them a little bit. But now that he's retired, he'll always be part of the family. But Deputy Blackburn over at South Lyon High School, Deputy Knapp at South Lyon East, and Deputy Mishark at the middle schools. The transition was seamless and just phenomenal. I know positive reports in every instance, and oftentimes unsolicited, from our administrators and the staff that work with them. So it's just extremely helpful. We work very hard to be proactive. I think if Deputy Brown and I are not in contact with one another at least once or twice a week, we just simply send a get well card because somebody must not be feeling well, because we communicate that often. But I think that allows us to be proactive, and we're always prepared to be reactive if we need to be. And with respect to funding, despite the Michigan legislature's unfortunate budget that they passed this past week, which is expected to be signed by the governor, just for the public's consumption, they reduced school aid funding for mental health and school safety by over 90%. So from $328 million to $25 million. Not a reduction of $25 million, but a reduction to $25 million statewide. In all my time, and probably your time working with budgets, we put our money where our priorities are. Safety and security will always be a priority for us as a district, and you don't get there. You're always striving to get there and work to get more efficient and more effective, and we'll continue to do that. And this partnership gives us confidence that we'll be able to continue to provide a safe and secure environment for our students and staff. So couldn't be more proud of the work that we do together. Couldn't be more proud of the court and school sessions at all 4 of our secondary schools. Schools were phenomenal. And then you can branch out to some other partnerships with streetlights over on 10 Mile, leading to Southland East High School, and the sidewalk leading from Orchard Crossings down to Kent Lake. So, you know, I think collectively you're hearing a lot more from me than you thought you might, and that's when I don't bring notes. That's what you get. But again, it can illustrate that there's a lot of good work that we can do together, and that I think that we have. And if it's something that's beneficial to the township and to the district, we'll find a way to get to yes, and we can make both stronger by working together. So thank you for your support, and Lieutenant Whitfield, thank you for yours as well, and I look forward to a continued partnership.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. Appreciate that. Any questions?
I was just gonna say, I got to go to the court and school and sit through one of the sessions, and I've never seen 600 or 700 high school kids so quiet for so long, because it was like the whole was like a couple of hours, and so it was pretty impactful. And I've got kids in 2 of the 3 schools, and I can tell you just from hearing them, and a third that graduated from Southland High School, and they're always very upbeat and positive about having that presence there. I don't think anyone dislikes it, and if they do dislike it, that's probably the reason why you're there to begin with, because they've been one of the 242 incidents. So I think it's great. I think the partnership's great. It's only gotten better and stronger over the years. There was a period of time not too long ago where there were not SROs assigned to schools at all in our district, and it was this township and the school district working with the sheriff's office that brought this to fruition. And so I think we're all pretty proud of it, and certainly wish to see it continue. And I think it's really disheartening to hear about the reduction at the state level. That's really strange, and it's strange that we haven't heard much about it. I haven't heard anything about it. That's a shocking reduction.
Yes.
And I think what you said, Steve, is true. I mean, you put your money where your priorities are, and that speaks volumes, and it's very unfortunate. So thank you for stepping up, and the school board for stepping up to continue to work with us to do this for all of our kids.
And I will say the SROs that you transitioned, I could not tell that they have been there forever. A bunch of good people. I mean, they were sitting behind in the court, you know, and taking people out in handcuffs and all that stuff. It was really dramatic, and it's like, man, we don't want to be here.
John, when they clicked the handcuffs on that one guy, I mean, we were in the auditorium, and you could hear it like echo through it was pretty intense.
There was a lot of work put into that, and we had several meetings, but boy, did it turn out the best. And I'll tell you, the judges were amazing, and they want to keep going. They want to keep going, so we can't let that fall.
We won't.
Okay, so any other questions about the SROs? Go ahead.
Of course I do. I wanted to tell Carol thank you for going through my...
I wondered if you noticed that.
I did. I did notice a lot of wills and no longer shalls. I do, however... Just one, and I'm going to let it go because I know it's already signed on your end. But if in the future we could get rid of the if possible, where it talks about the school board will provide, if possible, a properly lighted, private, and secure office with a telephone and locking file cabinet for business purposes. Really, I already talked to Lieutenant Whitfield. He already said that there's no issue, but you know, with the listing of some of the things, with the reports that they have had to do with CPS referrals, reports, and warrant packages, I think that an if possible for a locking office and file cabinet might just not be necessary to include that phrase, but I'm not going to hold anything up.
What page is that on?
That is on page 8 under facilities and materials.
And it's my understanding they all have offices.
The first bullet item. And then I just did have one question.
Oh, I see where it's up above though.
Yeah, facilities and materials, and then the 3 bullet items.
Yeah, okay, got it. I'll change it right now. For next year.
Yes, for next year. Thank you.
That's what I did last year.
I know. And then I just
That's what you did last year?
Yeah.
I gave her my tome of notes, and that's a book, Sean. Just so you.
Did you say a tome?
A tome. I did say a tome.
Okay.
Not a tone.
Not a tone. I was
No.
not sure where you were going with this. I accept your apology.
There is none. In any case, I just had a question where it talks about assignment of personnel. In page 1 of the agreement, it says that the assignment of personnel will be through Oakland County Sheriff's Department, but should it be office? And then the township supervisor will approve the sheriff's assigned, and then further down in item number 3, the township OCSO will remain solely responsible for determining the means and methods of performing services under this agreement. But I just had a question regarding Exhibit A where it talks about the selection. Is the selection still with you, or is the selection with the school district?
It's a partnership between
Okay.
both of them. And we were concerned that it may belabor the process if it weren't solely up to us, but I mean, they've been working with us. We've gotten some good people, and I believe we're all set for at least the next 4 years.
Okay.
So I don't think we have any foreseeable issues.
Okay, I wasn't sure just between reading those two things that if it was actually the collaboration or if it was one side.
No, it's a
Okay.
collaboration.
All right.
We have union rules to go by as far as the position. So we bring forth the candidates that are interested in coming as part of town. So we furnish him with a list. I'm sorry. They set it up for interviews, and we make our selections based on the best applicants.
Okay. All right, that was my only question.
All right.
Okay, anybody else?
Nothing else. That echo everybody's comments. It's a nice program. Very nice.
It is a great program. Does
And
somebody
you've
want to
even
make?
come and given us reports on some of the incidents that happened last year and stuff, so that was very helpful and, kind of tells the public or all the people watching online that what's going on.
Yes, yeah. It should be due for another triennial.
I don't know, this seems like it come every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for assignment and use of school resource officers for South Lyon East High School, South Lyon High School, and the South Lyon Middle Schools, for a total of 3.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, we did all 3 just now?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
I asked Carol.
Okay, good. I was gonna say,
I
Carol
would
didn't
never
say
do that
anything,
without
so
asking Carol.
She'll tell you if it's wrong, so.
Oh,
All
I
right.
know.
We're gonna move on to consideration to approve the Huron Valley Trail Improvements and Hawk Signal at Grand River Avenue. I want to start out by saying that this is Patty's idea, just so everyone knows that. We were sitting in a meeting one day, and we were talking about the new parking lots that we put in, and it was so hard for everyone to cross to get to Jonah's Market and all that. And we had some ARPA funds left over, and the DDA has a lot of debt that they will be occurring when this ring road goes in. So Patty said, wouldn't it be nice if we could put the Hawk Signal in for the DDA with the ARPA funds? And boy, what a great idea. I mean, I thought that was fantastic. Michelle jumped in and she said, absolutely, that's such a great idea. So that's why it's here. We brought it here for your approval, and there's an estimate in here on that project. Leslie put one together. And the only thing that we were talking about is the sidewalk portion of that. We was hoping that the DEA could build the sidewalk portion of that. We have some other things the ARPA funds are gonna go for here eventually. We have other crossings. And we was hoping that the sidewalk portion could go back to the DDA. And that again is a board decision. If you want ARPA funds to pay for that, it's totally to this board. But we have some other crossings, some other things that we'd like to maybe try to use these ARPA funds. And we are getting right to the bottom of them. So that's why we'd like to just do the Hawk Signal and put the sidewalks back in the DDA portion.
I think it is a great idea, Patty. And the one thing that we've done with our ARPA funds over the last few years is we've really spread them around and checked a lot of boxes across a variety of departments in areas of need across the township instead of putting them all kind of in one basket. And I think this is just another action that would kind of further that. So I think it makes sense.
Great idea.
We noticed that, that the school has utilized our parking lot considerably for events at the school, because they don't have enough parking
Sure.
over there. So, they actually bus them from the school over because there's really no safe way. So even that, when I came back, I saw that. I told John and Michelle, I go, oh my gosh, this just reconfirms that I think this would be great for our community. And as we talk about safety, I just think it would really benefit. We'd have a safe crossing back and forth, not only for kids, but for residents and even people just visiting. You gotta park on this side, you could go over there, you know, we have the winery, we have the inn, we have a lot of things coming. And I know this board has been really good with the trails. And then so we got a grant, and the Trailway Management Council hired McKenna to do this trail audit. And that we just got it. We will review it at the Trailway Council, and then I'll make sure that you guys get it. But it was an audit of what's needed in our 3 communities, and I think they did such a great job. Everybody, I mean, we have people that frequently attend the Trailway Management Council. We have some big avid bikers. They are so great to have. They send me emails, texts, everything. If they see something wrong on the trail, we can get it cleaned up right away with our own DPW. Just things that maybe, you know, we don't ride it every day or walk it, but we have a lot of eyes that help us police it, care for it, and they let us know what we need to do. And it's really helpful for Don, us, and the city, Paul. So anyways, you'll be getting that, but 2 of the suggestions for that audit was the crosswalk on Grand River and then the one over on Pontiac Trail, which we have to realign some stuff, but that's a hard curve. So I only put it in here because I asked Leslie if she would do an estimate for us, but I'm hoping maybe at budget time, if we could budget for that for next year, I think it would really be another feather in our cap to provide safety. And I also have some other signage that I'm going to bring back to the board also for when you approach like Milford Road, Grand River Road, things where bikers, you know, we are familiar with our community, but people visiting us or traveling down our pathways are not. And so anyways, today I am asking if the board would consider the hawk signal. And we also agreed, we were asking, since if we are using our ARPA funds, that the DDA would put in their budget the short little piece of sidewalk. So that puts both of the township and the DDA on the same page. But I think it would be a wonderful gift for the DDA and for us to make sure we have safety. So and then I'll tally up and let you know what we have left. We have around 400, so we did purchase the sign for the fire department, which we absolutely love, and I'm so happy we did that too. So we're right around 400, but I'll give you a detailed list the next time I bring it.
Left after this?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have about 400 right now after the sign. So just the price, Leslie, what's just the price for the, minus the sidewalk?
$290 some.
It is 28. It's about 300,000 approximately. It's about 25,000 for the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So for clarification on the map, the DDA would be putting in both segments of, it looks like it's brown or red sidewalk on the south side of Grand River.
Mhm.
And we would be funding the hawk signal.
Yes.
Well, let me add one other thing. That crossing at Pontiac Trail is probably the most dangerous crossing, bike trail we have in the township. And I would like to try to use the rest of the ARPA funds to get that, whether it's the ARPA funds and then a general fund paying. That is a dangerous. I come down there and watch bikers almost get killed there because of that.
It's like
The
right
curve,
on the curve.
and some older people that can't get across quickly. It's a dangerous thing. That one really needs to be done, and we need to talk about that soon.
That one is the one that I've heard the most complaints about from like the
It's
Trailway
awful.
Management, and it's cited pretty strongly in the safety audit. It really, because it isn't 90 degrees from the road,
Yeah,
so
there's a
it's
curve.
Yep.
difficult when you're the, I think drivers can see, but it's uncomfortable when you're the bicyclist. because you're looking
And
backwards.
straightening that out is gonna be, it's not gonna be cheap. We're gonna have to straighten out some
Right.
curves and.
Well, it's almost as expensive as the Hawk.
Mhm.
So that's
we
what
don't
we
have
were
enough money
hoping.
left to do both, like in ARPA, but
But
I'd
in the
like-
ARPA,
I'd like to see what we have left.
Yeah.
Because we do have a few other things we want to bring to you, minor things, and then, but we really wanted to get that Hawk going.
So the items that were itemized, the 3 items in your memo, Patty, yeah, I agree, with using the ARPA monies on it. That crossing at Pontiac Trail is definitely the scariest one.
by far.
Just, and I'm not even that good of a biker, but it's scary. I can't get up and get across. And then item 3, you kind of mentioned the other,
Yep.
RFP, the locations. I would just add in the 11-mile crossing too, because we can get a deal with the city. We had talked to Paul probably 6 months ago about it over there, and it sounds like they were interested in paying for half, so if that can be coordinated too, that's a pretty cheap add-on. And then, but no, like everything else, yeah, I think it's, I like what you put together.
And Leslie helped me a lot too, but we've been talking about this for a while, and so we just think it's really worth it.
So I really like the general idea. I'm curious though, I guess, what the evaluation was of why that crossing for the Hawk signal as opposed to like the Pontiac Trail crossing, if that one is the most dangerous, or the Grand River Trail crossing, which would put it a further distance out from the main signal where people are still going faster and perhaps less likely to stop. We definitely need some sort of thing here. I'm just, if we're only gonna do one Hawk, I'm not sure that one is the right
That's because it's in
spot.
downtown, and we're moving physically
People.
people, lots of people,
Strollers.
walkers,
Yeah, we have
people walking, we have festivals, people go back and forth across the street. At Pontiac Trail, we don't really have that. It's really more, and I'm not saying it's less, but we just think this is moving people. And also after seeing people walking from the school over, they took a little bus, because Grand River is.
Right, that when you
so-
said that
Right.
answered a little bit in
Yeah.
advance of what I was saying.
And,
but-
and we've, Amy has a lot of things planned for the downtown, and we just feel we really need it there because there's truly a lot of pedestrians, and you've been to the
Yep,
concerts in the park.
I go there.
People,
I've
you know-
attempted to cross the street there before. I've parked
Me
before
too.
the parking lot was built. I parked over in Dulcin's lot to go over to one of the
Yep.
events. So I've been through it. It's just one of those, if we're only gonna have one of these, I wanna make sure it's
Yeah, well,
the
it
right
benefits
spot.
the
And
school too.
that's where-
That's like another big,
But we will get to the other one. I mean, we're not putting,
well, I want.
that's why
Right, I'm
that's
just
what
saying
we're
the other
talking about.
one, like, I don't think the road commission would like having, 2 Hawks on Grand River, so the other one would probably be an RFB. And so
Right.
that's where
Right.
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
are we sure that we're putting them in the right spot and they shouldn't be flipped?
We are
think
sure.
so.
We
Okay.
think so. We just did the
Alright.
safety audit. We talked about this extensively. I mean, our trail meetings are probably at least 2 hours,
Mhm.
at least.
All right.
And like I said, you cannot believe it. I mean, we have a lot of people that attend our trail. It's from all the communities. We even have the hamper people come, the Metro Park. We have a couple of really great cyclists that come all the time. They're so great. We have Kristen from the county, who's great. We have Paul that comes from the airline trail. He's doing all our markers, which I'll have to put in your packet so you can see them. They're just beautiful. So we're pretty excited. We've been working very hard on more things than you probably are knowledgeable about, but we do.
Mhm.
We meet at least probably every quarter.
Right, and the Hawk signal too will be most likely a single mast arm that will be located on the south side of Grand River, and we should be able to get away with one. So it won't be a mast arm on both sides, so,
That
just so, for some information.
Yeah.
That's good, because the other thing just to think about as we're doing this is, not having to rework it when we get eventual streetscape improvements.
We talked about that also. We want it to be in the right place, but we're pretty
And
sure
then-
we like the location,
Okay.
and that's where it
So-
was also suggested in the audit.
Okay, if the audit, then again, that's, I hadn't seen the audit, so that was
Well, we
putting that
actually
question
just
aside.
got
It's
it,
tough.
so
Yeah.
now I can bring it up because I didn't have it.
Right.
Probably, we've had it maybe a week, maybe.
So then, just a couple clarifying things then of, so we're saying there's 400-ish left now before we commit to this, is that
That's-
right?
That's
So
approximately,
then,
yes.
are we looking tonight to only do the Hawk piece, or are we looking to move some of the other two as well? 'Cause
I would like to
just
do
the
the
Hawk.
Hawk piece first,
Okay,
and then I can bring back either more signage or, there won't be, it's not enough left to do the Pontiac Trail one.
right.
So
The-
we
the
figured maybe if we could
RFPs
get these
are-
other ones
They're
done too.
quick, relatively easy hits, and I know, maybe I'm misremembering this, but I feel like in the past we had, not the RRFB format, but I think it was the kind where you have the blinkers around the edge of the diamond sign.
Can't remember what those are called.
I can't
I have
remember
it,
the name,
I have it.
but I feel like we had those, and then they went away. Because I remember at one point, I think, pushing the button and they would blink.
Something, but, yeah,
And
that's a long time.
so just something, and as we're looking, like,
Yeah.
look back and maybe, you know, if
Well,
they
that's why we're
fail
gonna-
prematurely, make sure we don't get that same kind, just,
No, we're going with the Hawk. We're going with the good one.
Well, that's.
well, not for
Remember, he's talking
the
about
Hawk is
all
still,
the
I'm talking
crossings.
about
Yeah.
the other crossing.
Yeah,
So
the
then
one that
we
was
can
on the ring
Figure
road.
out what that
Yeah.
is, bring back what we
Yep.
have left.
I don't know why that left.
Right, and that's, I just, when this came up, it reminded me about the fact that it's like, that's not there anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure why
Just-
that, I don't even know who
I
took
don't
that
know
away,
either.
because they were just flashing yellow lights, you
Right,
push the
yeah,
button.
you
and it would
push the
flash.
button, it would blink,
I
and
don't know
then
why
you
that went
feel a little
away.
better about why.
I don't know
They
either.
ended up putting up those like kind of like buoy things up that are orange and white. So
Yeah.
that all disappeared and then those appeared, so that you're watching
Weird.
for people crossing, but
Mhm.
That question's come up
We need to
before.
get those back, and I actually
Right.
have a beautiful diagram of
So
them.
I would be, you know, if we just wanna do the Hawk tonight, I
Yeah,
understand
that's
that,
what we'd
but
like
I
to do.
definitely
I would like to do the
am
Hawk.
expressing support with continuing to hit these other
Yeah.
points.
And we'll be
sooner
bringing
rather
that,
than later.
believe me.
Hey, Patty, out of curiosity, does the road commission ever attend those, or for
Well,
the
not-
trail
not-
meetings or
Not
not?
the road commission, no, they have not, but Kristen does. She's fabulous. She makes us maps. Oh, we have a beautiful new map, and we're getting our markers. We picked our color, so when you're traveling through the communities, you know, the color band is on, you know, Milford picked their color, we picked our color, the city of South Lyon picked their color. Very excited. We have had sponsorship. Thank you to Leslie, Carol, McKenna so far. I have a few more I think we only had 7. And I just, with the audit and the taxes, I haven't had a chance to get over, but I thought maybe the brewery would like to purchase one, and maybe Wholehearted Winery might, maybe the South Lyon Hotel. I just haven't had a chance. So there for like 10 years, it's $450. Your name gets on the post, and
Is it like a brought to you by, or is it like a, you get a spot on a directional sign to say,
It's
hey,
a-
go this way to get to this
it's,
establishment?
no, it's just on our poles. We have
Okay.
7 of them. So there, it's really cool. So anyways,
All right.
We need a little touch-up paint then.
hopefully nobody runs into them because they're gonna be brand new. But anyways, so that's what I'm hoping that you would consider that.
So do we need an exact number subtracting the sidewalk, or can we just phrase this as less the
What do you wanna
sidewalk
do?
construction costs?
Okay. I would say maybe budget 305,000, is that a nice round number out of ARPA? And the
300
rest
would be a
is-
little more round.
Okay, 300, or you could do 300.
305, I don't know how round that is.
I would just do a round number, and then the remainder
Okay.
would be
There's
covered by
12%
DDA.
contingency, so hopefully it'll be
So-
less than that.
300.
Alright, so if,
305.
are we, okay.
Let's go 310.
Alright, I'll make a motion to allocate $305,000 from our ARPA funds towards the construction of a Hawk crossing at Grand River and, shoot, I lost my
Wells.
map.
Just east.
Yeah, Wells.
And
Wells Road.
Wells, yeah,
and
that's
Wells
good.
Street.
Yeah, Wells, yes. I'll support.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, that's nice.
I do have one clarifying question. The DDA did approve our engineering design proposal and surveying proposal. We have not started work on this yet because we knew there was talk about this. Does that also require board approval, or is it acceptable that the DDA already approved it?
I guess if the DDA approved it.
The design work that was approved by the DDA already, so.
It
They
seems
approved it,
like
I
it's
guess.
their project and we just contributed $305,000 to it.
Is that good?
Does that work? Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make
think
sure
we're good.
before I proceed. Okay, thank you.
We'll take it.
Okay, so our last item tonight, before the closed, is the consideration to approve the resolution of the Board of Trustees appointing members to the DDA Development Area Citizens Council. And basically, this is a requirement by Oakland County for our TIF. So, and that's, this committee is to, Amy, you want to explain exactly what?
Yeah, so we're
CDW
getting to the
because
point
I'm really
of presenting a renewal plan or an extension plan for Oakland County for our TIF agreement. And part of the requirements when you are redoing that TIF agreement is that because we have over 100 residents within our DDA boundaries, that we're required by law to form a Development Area Citizens Council. So we need to find 10 individuals, actually 9 individuals. We're shooting for 10 to have an extra person just in case. But 9 individuals that will meet at least twice, that will review our TIF plan and give feedback. So we're getting an actual resident's perspective on that plan and how it's going to impact them. So I've been reaching out to individuals, and I believe in the resolution, there's a list of the 10 individuals that we're proposing that have had accepted a nomination to be on that DACC. And our intention is to begin meeting, I believe, late August, early September, with the first meeting, followed the next month by the second one based on feedback. And that has to be completed, I believe, 90 days before we have a public hearing for the finalized TIF plan. So we are kind of trying to move fast with this.
Okay. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion then to approve resolution number 2024-23 of the Board of Trustees appointing members to the DDA Development Area Citizens Council.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have a council.
I'll make a motion that we move into a closed session to discuss pending litigation between MLS Holdings LLC and the Charter Township of Lyon, Oakland County Circuit Court case number 2024-205031CZ, in accordance with the Open Meetings Act MCL 15.268E, as an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the township.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and support. Could we please call this by roll, April?
Yes.
Thank you.
Lisa Blades,
Yes.
Michelle Cash,
Yes.
Christopher Emma,
Yes.
John Dolan,
Yes.
Robert Swank,
Yes.
Patricia Carconi,
Yes.
Sean O'Neill.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned to closed session.
7:18
I
p.m.
would note
All right, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene into regular session.
I'll support that motion,
It's 7:30.
and it's 7:32.
Okay.
Okay, we are reconvened, and let me call that.
We need a support. Anybody support that?
I supported,
Okay.
and I'd like to
Call
make
by
a
roll.
roll call. Yep. Patty Kirkoni,
Yes.
Sean O'Neill,
Yes.
John Dolan.
Yes.
Lisa Blades.
Yes.
Chris Enlow,
Yes.
Robert Swain,
Yes.
Michelle Cash, yes. Okay, we are back.
Make a motion to approve the consent judgment in the matter of MLS Holdings LLC versus Charter Township of Lyon, Oakland County Circuit Court Case Number 2024-205031-CZ, subject to final review of the conceptual plans by the planner and engineer.
I'll support that.
Do we need a roll call on that? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Seeing all businesses been completed, I would say we adjourn.
7:33 p.m.
Thank you.
Great.
Happy 4th of July.